Yes, a very good morning, children. As I've told you yesterday, that I have done with the last chapter in the book Indian Constitution at Work. But when I have gone through the book, I was going through the book to see that whether any part has been skipped over or not. So I found that, one important part, unconsciously has been skipped over by me. And I want to include, because that is very important part, and I don't want that part to go. You should not know about that, and that this is apart from the executive chapter. Clear? Am I audible to all of you? Is the board visible? Is the board visible? Am I audible to you? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Now, children, we have seen that, from this chapter, the executive, as I've told you that India is a parliamentary executive. So India is a parliamentary executive, which means that in India, first of all, executive is divided into two categories. One is nominal executive and another one is real executive. Clear? Nominal means only in name, and real means those who are wielding or those who exercise or enjoy real powers, like the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Now, amongst within this real executive, we will again be going into two types of executive. One is political executive, another one is permanent executive. Political executive are ministers, and permanent executive, they are civil servants, or they are known as bureaucrats. Clear? So this real executive, I told you executive in India is broadly divided into two categories. One is nominal executive, which you have already discussed, President and Vice President of India, and the real executive is the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers of India, because India is a parliamentary executive. Now this real executive can again be subdivided into two parts. One is the political executive, and another one is the permanent executive. Clear? Usually the political executive, they are ministers, and the permanent executive, they are civil servants or the bureaucrats. Civil servants means government officials. Civil servants means government officials, who are highly placed or who take part in the administrative jobs of the country. Like that at the state level you have WBCS officers, like at the union level or the central level you have IAS officers, IPS officers. They are all bureaucrats or civil servants. That means those government servants or those government officials which take a part or which hold post in the administrative job of the government. Clear? Remember, all government officials are not civil bureaucrats. All of them are not bureaucrats. You will ask that somebody is a peon in any one of the office, and you will think that that person is a bureaucrat. That is a wrong myth. This is a wrong notion. Clear? A peon is there. He or she may be a government employee under the state or the central government, but that person is not a part of the administrative process. So we do not regard him to be the bureaucrats. Bureaucrats are actually highly placed civil servants who are actually involved in the administrative process or the government process of the country. Now here I will try to make a difference between these two forms of executive. Clear? Now, when I was discussing to you about the Council of Ministers, we have seen that the Council of Ministers are actually 80 to 100 ministers. Clear? 80 to 100 of them, and usually when I have discussed about their composition, you know, it was like this: Prime Minister, then you have the Cabinet Ministers, then you have Ministers of State, up till Ministers of State. Clear? Now, as I've told you before when I was discussing about them, I told you the cabinet ministers, if you recall them, you will just remember that the cabinet ministers and the ministers of state, they are in charge of different portfolios or different departments. They are in charge of different departments or different portfolios. As for the cabinet ministers, I told you they hold important or national level departments like finance, like defense, like foreign affairs, whereas all the other departments which are left, which may be of a local importance, they are given to the ministers of the state. Clear? Now here you see, I'll give you one example. See, if this is maybe Ministry of Finance. If you go to New Delhi, you will find that all kinds of ministries are there. You will see in a row so many ministries are there. And usually the head of a ministry is a minister. And if I say for finance, then the finance minister is actually the head of this department. That is Ministry of Finance. Clear? Now, for example, you take that, just for example, I'm giving you, I am your finance, I have been given this portfolio of finance ministry. Clear? So, I am in charge of the Ministry of Finance, that is, I am head of the finance department of India. But as far as you know, I am not well versed, or I don't know much of the finance department. Why? Because that may not be my subject, that may not be my center of competence. I may not be competent for that. I may be competent as a teacher for a particular subject, teaching you a particular subject. But that doesn't mean that I will also be having a proper knowledge of the ministry or the finance of the country. And you know that finance is a very, very important department. But why, then you will ask me a question, that means why a person who is not having a proper knowledge of that particular department is made a minister or head of that particular department? Because they are known as political executive. Why political executive? Because what is more important is that the party to which you belong, the political party to which you belong. For example, as in today's scenario, you'll find that the BJP has formed the government at the center. Clear? And whenever we talk about a minister, we don't talk about their educational qualification or what is their experience. We don't need them. What is more important is that how popular that person is as a political leader. If that person holds an important place in the party, he is given the head of different departments. In India, this is a very sad story that all the ministers, who hold important departments, I'll say that majority of them, they don't have a proper knowledge of the department of which they are made in charge. But they are made in charge. Why? Because of the political background they have. Because the very important position which they hold in the political party which has formed the government. Clear? So I was giving my example. So I am enjoying a very important position in the party. So the Prime Minister has given me the Department of Finance, because finance is a very important department. But you know that I have no knowledge about this finance department. So what will happen? Now, under me, I will have a group of civil servants. Civil servants. CS I am giving the small form. Civil servants. Why they are known as permanent executive or why they are known as civil servants? It is because, whenever you know that many of you have an aim in life that you want to become a WBCS officer or you want to become an IAS officer. But before that, you know that if you want to become an officer of that rank, you have to have proper education, a huge lot of effort. You have to prepare for that competitive examination. After you face the examination, if you have qualified for your written one, then you will placed for your interview. If you qualify for your interview, then you will be sent for your training. After you complete your training, then only you will be given that post. So a civil servant is given that post not because of his popularity. It is because of his education, or it is because of his skill, it is because of his talent, it is because of his experience why he has given this post. And those people, those who will come to the finance department, they are having complete knowledge of what is finance and how the finance of the country is to be carried on. So, although I am the head of the department, but there are a group of civil servants who are under me and they will be guiding me in my work. Why? Because they are highly qualified, highly trained for this particular department. They are known as political executive because it is their political background which matters, and they are known as permanent executive. Why? Because a civil servant, when they enter into an office, for example, when you grow up and when you become a WBCS officer or an IAS officer, you will be carrying on your job up till 60 or 65 years of age. Usually before that, nobody has the power to remove you from office. Clear? On the other hand, you have seen that the political executive, that is the ministers, they are also known as non-permanent executive. Why non-permanent? Because we have already seen that the term of a minister is for 5 years, but that 5 years is also not fixed. They can be removed before that also if the Lok Sabha passes a vote of no confidence. So if the permanent executive is a permanent one, that means once he enters into the office, more or less, he comes out only after his retirement. Yes, there can be a process of removing them, but that too also, it is very difficult because you have to prove that that person has done something wrong. You have to prove that. Clear? So more or less, if they enter the office, they come out when only they retire. So if they are known as non-permanent, they are also known, this permanent executive are known as non-political. Why non-political? Because to which party they belong, to which party they support, that is not a criteria here. Here, as your popularity, as your political career, political popularity is a matter. Here, that is not a matter. Here, education is your matter. Here, your talent is a matter. Here, your merit is a matter. Here, your experience is a matter. If you have them, then only you are appointed as a civil servant. So non-political executive, why? Because whether they vote to a particular party or not, that is not very important. What is important is all this criteria, because you know that whenever advertisements comes out for these kinds of posts, you know, it is very specifically it is written that only people having this much of qualification, this much of age, this much of experience, having proper knowledge in computers, what particular department, then only they will go fill up the form, then they will go to sit for the exam. After sitting for the exam, if they qualify in the written, then only they will go for the interview. After the interview, they will go for their training, and after that they will return, and then they will be getting their posts. So it is on the basis of merit which they are appointed, and here it is mainly of their political popularity. Clear? So from here only you can understand which is, so if I am the political executive, that is Ministry of Finance, so all those people, those who are the civil servants, they are working under me. That means they are actually doing the main work. They are guiding me, they are helping me to run on the department. Clear? So tomorrow I will complete this part. I will give you some questions, and then I will positively move over to the next book.